Kim, good to see you. Today we're going to talk about 5 year-end money moves for a better 2025. The end of the year is close upon us and always a great time to start thinking about our finances for the upcoming year. So we're sharing 5 tips to help get us all on track for a better 2025. And first you say, perform a budget checkup and shore up that emergency fund.
That's right. And this is a great time to do this because all of our, accounts, our banking accounts and our credit cards, they send us nice little beautiful year-end summaries that show us what all we've been spending our money on. So January is a perfect time to revisit that. A lot of times we're spending money on things that we don't even realize how much money we're spending on. So to look through that and really, digest it is a good thing, can help you cut out some fat. And then, like you said, emergency fund checkup. This is probably one of the areas that we see get the people most in trouble, is not having an adequate emergency fund. And then, of course, life will happen. So make sure that you have that emergency fund. They say anywhere between 3 to 12 months of cash on hand, that if you got in a pickle, you could go right there versus putting it on a credit card.
Mm-hmm. All right. Number 2, max out your Roth IRA.
Yes, the good news is that you have until tax filing deadline to fund Roth IRA or traditional IRA if it's right for you. So April of 2025, you can actually still do that for 2024. So again, if you have that extra cash laying around, be a great time and use to put it into a Roth IRA if you can.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you're eligible, max out that HSA, the health savings accounts, which are uniquely triple tax advantaged.
Yes, we always say this is a hidden gem in our industry that is highly underused. So the key here is you have to have a high deductible healthcare plan to be able to contribute to an HSA. But like you said, it's triple tax advantage, which means that you don't pay taxes on the money that you're putting in. So you get that write-off on your taxes. It can grow tax-free and then ultimately be withdrawn tax-free if you're using for medical expenses in the future. And we like to say it's going to be very hard to put too much money away in those type of accounts. Brent and I personally use ours as another just tax-free savings account for retirement that we're going to be using for healthcare expenses because we know they're going to be there. And you can actually reimburse yourself for Part B. And Part B for 2024 was $175 a month. So that can really add up over the course of time.
Mm-hmm.
Great tool.
Going up to $185 for 2025. Good point.
Yep.
Next, you suggest offset your gains by harvesting losses. This is known as tax loss harvesting.
Yes. So for those clients out there that have non-retirement titled accounts, it's a good idea to look at those assets towards the end of the year. And if you are wanting to change out some positions that have had nice gains over the course of the year, you can also look at some losers that you might have had and sell those at the same time. That can offset each other and ultimately reduce down your tax liability.
And because it has been such a good year for the market, Kim, we need to talk about rebalancing.
Yes. So when we have these banner years like we've had this past year, you always want to make sure that you're looking at things on an ongoing basis, because what that means for a lot of people is that their equity positions are now higher than their original target was. So many times we're rebalancing those portfolios and making sure that we're back in our original kind of target set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to be taking on more risk than you know.
Right.
And then, of course, a lot of us make charitable donations at the end of the year. If this is you, you might want to consider a qualified charitable distribution. How does that work?
So qualified charitable distributions are going to apply to those that are 70 and a half or older. What it allows you to do is take dollars out of those traditional IRAs. Normally, when you take money out of an IRA, it's taxable to you at whatever your tax rate is. But if you do a QCD, that means you're taking those dollars out of the IRA, handing them directly to the charity without touching your hands first. And when you do it that way, you don't pay taxes on that money. So it can be a win-win for both you and the charity.
Right. So if you're putting money in that collection plate, there is a more tax efficient way to do it.
Absolutely.
Kim, thank you so much for walking me through these tips. If somebody wants to talk about getting them in place for the end of the year or even for 2025, these are all great tips. What's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is to just go out to our website, www.young-wm.com, and you'll find all of our contact information out there.
Great. Kim, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.